everyone, it's Plain Taste Buds coming again to you with another review. So, what am I going to review today? Well, growing up in Boston, had to rep my city real quick on my chest. I've always had fried dough. I love fried dough. I've had fried dough at fairs, I've had fried dough at water parks, always had fried dough. And then a couple years ago, I met someone who was like, oh, have you ever had elephant ears? And I was like, elephant ears? What's that? And so she was like, oh, it's like, this fried delicious like dough or bread, and it's so good, and they put butter over it, and it's just really good with cinnamon. And so I'm like, oh, you mean fried dough? And she's like, no, what's that? Elephant ears is what we have in Florida. So I have family in Florida, but I can honestly say I've never had elephant ears. But from my research, I feel like elephant ears and fried dough are the exact same thing, only with a couple of different ingredients. So today, I decided I'm going to get to the bottom of what is the difference. Now, disclaimer, there are several different elephant ears type of recipes and a couple of different fried dough recipes. So I'm going to do the closest I think that I can to get to the actual product. Everything will be made pretty much from scratch, although with fried dough at least, I noticed that you can also use pizza dough from the grocery store, but I would just prefer to actually do a legit dough that I would make myself. So for the fried dough recipe, I'm using Food 52's version that they have, and I'm gonna show you now the ingredients. Let's get started with the frying. All right, just gonna turn on my stove here. I got my little cast iron skillet with some canola oil. The recipe said you could use vegetable oil, but we don't have any at the moment, so I'm gonna turn this up really high to start. Actually, I'll bring it to like a 6. That should be okay. Now for my ingredients. So I'll be tagging the recipe in the actual box below as well. But since it's just me and my boyfriend and it's my birthday weekend, we're going to be having a lot of sweets. I'm trying my best not to make a big batch. So I'm only going to do half a size for a serving for, actually it's 4 pieces that I'll make. So you need some water, sparkling water, this recipe says, all-purpose flour, baking soda, nutmeg, some salt, and some butter that you'll cut up. So like I said, I'm modifying this recipe just because it's only the 2 of us. So I have my bowl that I'm going to be mixing my ingredients. I have over here my iPad for Food 52's recipe. Whisk dry ingredients together in a large bowl. 1 cup flour. Woo! Good, didn't spill nothing. Baking soda. Salt. Now that I think about it, I'm surprised there's no sugar in this one. So in some of the recipes I see they say add sugar, but not this one. So nutmeg, just a little bit of that. Work with hands, dry ingredients, work butter into dry ingredients, no large chunks are noticeable. So I'm gonna get this going, which is supposed to be, what is it? I'm going to do half a cup of the sparkling water. I actually really like this flavor, Pierre. Although the recipe does say to use, it says to use an Italian sparkling water. I mean, I think this one's French. I'm going to look that up later and then write it below. Let you know if I was right that it was French, yay or nay. But it says for some reason use this for best results. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Ooh, hear that fizzy, fizzy, fizzy. Fizzy, fizzy, fizzy. Fizzy, 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 fizzy. Warm the sparkling water into a medium pot for 1 minute, or do it 20 seconds in a microwave. I think I'm gonna do it in the microwave. But before I do that, let me wash my hands. This is my little melted cubes here. So also too, I kind of always wanted to like make this at my house. Like, being a little kid, being a younger person or a little kid, I've always been fascinated with fried dough, the texture of it all, and whatnot. And so this is actually pretty cool to me. I get to actually make it. I hope it tastes like it does at the circus. One recipe I had seen from a popular fair, they specifically say you need to use the fair's like all-purpose flour. And so many people were like, this doesn't taste like real fried dough. This is mad like bready. It's too thick. Da 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 da. And so I trust Food 52 very much so. In fact, I want to do my own reviews of their products soon for myself. And so with that, I decided I would love to try out one of their recipes on my channel. Why not? I think that would be a pretty cool idea. They say to make sure it's like not too clumpy. And so being that my butter was kind of melted, like as you can see, there are some parts of it that is kind of clumpy and some that's more refined. But that's okay, actually. That's what you're supposed to have here. So with all that, I'm gonna then warm up my mineral water or my sparkling water, and we're gonna see what happens then. All right, so maybe it's just me, but I didn't really expect all this fizz. I'm trying to be really careful. Like, it's fizzing even more. That's kind of cool. Fizz, 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 fizz. I guess I should mix it at this point with, you know, actually before I pour it in, I'm gonna get my fork ready. Cause I ain't putting my hand in there. That's gonna be all hot. Yeah, right. Fork life. All right. Get it together. Whoa. I feel like fried dough is like a really good treat. Like, it's really up to you how, oh, hold on, let me turn this off for a second. Turn it low. It's really up to you, I feel like, how sweet it's gonna be, like by how much cinnamon and sugar you put on. I usually don't use cinnamon. I don't, but maybe today I'll put a little bit, just maybe. All right. Cover with tea towel and let sit for 15 minutes. Work into a loose dough. So, okay, yeah, it's a loose dough. All right, cool. I don't have any tea towels at this time, so I'm going to use a fabulous paper towel and come back in 15 minutes. So, in the meantime, between time, while that's resting, my oil is heating up. I'm going to wash all this stuff out because I'm going to start preparing for the elephant ears. Cool. All right, so they're not the most glamorous shot, but in here I have my milk, salt, sugar, shortening, and I'm going to be topping it with dry yeast after the shortening melts. So I would have showed you in the measuring cups, but it was such a, just such a small amount. I was like, well, let me do everything inside the actual pan, and I'm about to mix it up. And then once I'm done mixing it up, once it hits a certain temperature, specifically I think it's 110, or until the shortening and the sugar that you can't see in there dissolves, then that's when I will add the yeast on top. So yeah, so far from what I can tell, the big difference is that for elephant ears they use yeast and they use shortening. Salt, oh, and sugar. I have seen some fried dough recipes with sugar involved though, so I definitely, we could count that for now, but it's not something that I would think is such like a bigger deal like the yeast and the shortening. So I'm really excited to taste the difference. I've seen recipes that involved eggs, but this recipe actually comes from allrecipes.com, and so I figured, you know, it's a pretty popular website, why not go with it? Like I said before, I've seen people make these options using pizza dough, so if you just don't want to go through all of the waiting, then of course by all means get your pizza dough, but I definitely like to know what's in my food for the most part, as much as I possibly can. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and grab wheat and grind it down into flour, but who knows, maybe. I was telling my boyfriend I actually wanted to do that. Telling my whole family I'd love to, like, not grind wheat into flour, but like make an almond, like an almond milk, and then use the remainder as flour, like bake that and turn it into flour. I don't know, maybe that sounds a little bit too healthy for some people, but anyways, back to the frying. So this is all melted. Wait. Got some Crisco here on the side of my spoon. I want to melt into it. So this is only going to make 2 elephant ears because like I said, I'm already doing too much. Going to remove and let cool right here. Let cool. So I don't have a thermometer, so my whole let cool is going to literally be based off of me getting back to the fried dough and then coming back over here. So probably like, let's say about 5 minutes, maybe not. Yeah, let's put on 5 minutes. That sounds good. Okay, 5 minutes. I'm gonna come back and add the gosh, should I? Cool to lukewarm. Yeah, that has some 5 minutes away. All right, cool. That's what I'm gonna do. So in the meantime, between time, back to the fried dough. I have my frying pan still warming up. I had to turn it down a little bit because it was getting a little smoky. But this is still warm. So I'm gonna use my surface here. Yeah, more like 4. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. If we take a little from here and add to there. Yep, that feels good. Okay, perfect. From there, I'm going to roll each piece out until very thin. Let me get my roller. All right, got my roller. So I'm gonna start to turn this up to about 5. Hopefully it'll be good. I don't want to do anything smoky or strange. Oh, my timer's going down, but in the meantime, between time, I'm going to roll this out. That looks a little bit big for that, but I guess the sides will fold up. All right, so enough time has gone by. I'm gonna add in my yeast over here. So now my yeast is inside my little mixture for my elephant ears. So this is what it looks like now. I'm gonna let it sit until it gets foamy. This is a little bit bigger than this pan than I thought it would be. I wasn't really thinking it would be that big, but whatever. So I'm just gonna take off a little bit of the dough here. Got that sizzle. I was getting a little worried at first. All right, word. Get this off of the counter a bit. So it says to wait for 1 to 2 minutes before flipping. Until golden colored. Ooh, wait a second. All right. Oh, nope, it was too early. It was too early, but it was getting there. I'm so excited right now. You have no idea. Gotta get my powdered sugar out because I'm so excited. So here in fabulous Canada, they have icing sugar, aka I believe it's called confection sugar or confection sugar. So we're gonna use this to sprinkle on top of our fried dough. That's what I'm used to seeing when I would go to like carnivals and fairs. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like my first one and everything, but that is the puff I'm looking for. That fried dough puff. Yeah, I'm kind of weird. And that's okay. Because you're not judging me, right? 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 It's YouTube. Get over yourself. So with this one, because of course the top I didn't have a lot of oil. I had to press down that top to make sure it would like cook a little bit better. So it looks a little interesting, but I feel like it still has that like airy consistency or that airy texture that you get usually from a fried dough. But this recipe is still supposed to take a whole hour. So guess what? This is what we gonna work with. This is what we gonna do. And I'm sure it's gonna taste quite delicious, because if it's supposed to take an hour and this has been foaming for probably, or sitting to foam for about, I don't know, close to 10 minutes, I feel like this is, ugh. Well. Okay, so we're gonna use that now. Okay, so transfer mixture to a large bowl, add in flour to make dough. Knead until smooth. Alright. Let's see what we can get going on around here. Maybe it's me, but it looks like all the Crisco didn't melt out. Either way, here we are. Like I said before, I'm learning as I go. It is what it is. This batter is actually much more wet than the batter for the regular fried dough. Very, very sticky wet dough. It kind of reminds me of when I'm making bread. And maybe that's because of the yeast. Although I'm making it for, remember, I said I'm making 2 pieces. This is still the amount of dough that this generated, which I think is still a lot. Like I said, bad choice on the pan size, but I'm gonna make it work. Okay. So now I'm gonna cover this up for 30 minutes. I'm gonna eat what's already been prepared. So in my past life, I would have just honestly sprinkled this like normal, but I've seen a lot of people put it through the sieve. That's what I'm gonna do. That should be enough powdered sugar. All right, zoom in on my tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. And I could tap forever. It's time. So let's first talk about the smell. It smells so good. The appearance. I'm sorry for my lighting if you can't see that well. It's just like a bear. It's so good. I'm sorry, just give me a second. Best birthday present ever. All right, so you hear that crisp? Oh my gosh. So the only thing that would make this better, I'm being really rude, excuse me. Okay, the only thing that would make this even better is if I would have ate it when it just came out of the pan. It's a bit cool now, so if you've ever had cool down fried dough, it's alright. But it's so good. Like so good. So good. So good. I actually saved this wrap this time to roll out my dough. And I just wanted to say, so about that first batch, the the fried dough. So the piece that I had was a bit more crunchier than fried dough typically is, but that was cool. I really did enjoy it. The second piece I had off camera, and it was perfect. Everything about it was so great. I think the oil was a bit hotter in the for the second one because it poofed up. Remember I had showed you guys that poof footage. So I feel like that really truly like channeled the actual fried dough. I was a little worried because I had to smush down that top and it had a little bit more of a deeper burnt look, but I promise you it tastes really good. So same thing with the elephant ears. Gonna break it up and roll it out. Like I said, this is supposed to make 2, but just because I feel definitely more is gonna be able to make, I'm gonna make that into even a smaller ball and work with this here and make my 2 from here. Because of that Crisco, I don't know if you can see, but it's definitely a little bit more shinier than the other batter that I had, or flour mix that I had made before. Oh, I folded it. No, not the elephant ear, no. It seems to, oh, nope, save the day. Perfect. And with this one, I will actually aim to eat it right away so I can give you an actual real-time, opinion, I guess. It's still real-time, but I guess more real-time, especially since I've never had elephant ears before. I've had fried dough several times, so I know what that tastes like, cold, hot, all that, but elephant ears, just those 2 simple difference in terms of ingredients, the yeast and the Crisco. I'm really excited to see how this goes. And this is actually browning, I feel, even faster than the fried dough. Look at those edges. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. That browned real quick. Yeah, I feel like that's already done. And maybe it's because of the Crisco, why it's cooking up so much faster. Just thinking maybe. Yeah, look at that. It's so brown. Alright, let's see what happens with this one. I'm going to try to monitor it a little bit better. See if it's going to be taking as long to get brown or whatever. Ooh, listen to that sizzle! It's even been a whole minute yet. I'm telling you. Okay, so is it done now? Yeah, I guess so. All right. Alright, so I told you I'm going to come to you in real time. You can see it's still pretty present on the, the sugar isn't all the way melted. So I'm going to go ahead and have this second one, see what's going on. Elephant ears. Oh my gosh, okay, hold on. Just move that out the way. Wow. So usually when I get fried dough, I also forgot to do this because I just wasn't thinking about it. They put butter on the top. But with this Crisco one, not that you need butter on the top anyways, in my opinion. But with this one with the Crisco already in it, I feel like you don't need the butter. The shortening just does it. And also too, like, at least with my cooking experience, the inside of this is a bit more puffy than the one I did before without the Crisco. It's really freaking good. Alright, so the verdict is in, friends. Was it the fried dough or the elephant ears? So, off-camera discussions. The fried dough itself was delicious, familiar to what I know and love, very tasty. Like I said, the second one was more poofy and had more of that fried dough texture that you're used to getting at the fair. The elephant ears, oh my gosh, so good. Had that nice shortening coating in there, so don't want to call it greasy, but definitely had that more, gosh, I don't know, but it was good. Not sure exactly as far as the yeast goes. The next time I make it, I want to definitely let that sit a little bit longer and see, you know, the foaming as it happens. But as far as which one will take home the love and staple in my heart, it will be the elephant ears. So good. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to Florida for that. I'm just making it in the comfort of my own kitchen. It was delicious. It was soft. It was tasty. It was everything. And although I was a little worried because it fried quicker than the fried dough itself, it didn't have a burnt taste or anything like that. So even that darker color was still fine. It was just so good. It was so good. So I have settled it, at least in my heart, at least in my life. The debate between fried dough and the elephant ears, definitely, hands down, loving those elephant ears, and will be so excited to make them even more often. I have leftover dough from both of them, and I will be using both of them to, you know, satisfy my taste buds this evening. So thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe below, click like for this video, and thank you so much for watching again. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Keep it tasty.